A trip to southern Florida in NASCAR typically means it's the beginning or end of the season. Daytona in February, Homestead in November. And while the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series is about to tackle the oval just outside of Miami, it's no longer bookending the schedule. It's race 5 of the season, where Byron Daly looks for his 3rd consecutive victory after wins at Watkins Glen in Iowa and in Delicado and Simpson, seek his 2nd victory in 2020. Welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Liam Sheen for Sim TV, for Fuel, for the millionth time now it seems like, Liam, but this is your first time back here in a while. Welcome back to Sim TV as we tackle our 125-lap race just outside of Miami, Florida.
Yeah, thanks for having me back here. This season has been really interesting to see these newcomers come in and just almost dominate the competition. I mean, it's been pretty wild to see like drivers like Delicado and Aaron Smith just put together really strong runs, and they're clearly playoff contenders going into the playoffs. But Aaron Smith isn't here tonight, so I think it will be a little tough on him for him to get into that contention. But Nick Delicado's shown that he's one of the guys to beat in this field.
And still a relatively new season. This is our 5th race of the year. We started things off at Daytona, and then we took a couple trips around the country, up to Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago, and then to Iowa Speedway, where at both of those races, it was Byron Daly from the Fuel IndyCar Series that came out and won both races. Is he the new force to be reckoned with here, Liam? Because this is his first 2 races in Fuel's Xfinity Series here. So you have to wonder, is this going to be the new driver to watch, or is it going to be someone else sneaking their way up through the field?
I think it'll be selective to which type of track we're on. On the road courses and short tracks where braking is really important, I would say that it would be probably Byron Daly as the guy to beat, but I wouldn't sleep on the competition such as Nick Johnston and Delicado, and Riley Thompson has shown really strong runs throughout the season. And I think on 1.5 milers, they may be the guys that could put up the challenge to Byron Daly.
There's Chad Simpson in the number 42. He was the winner at Daytona a few weeks ago at the season's beginning, and he led 1 lap at Daytona and won the race. That's all you had to do, and he did it there. He qualifies himself 2nd right now with a 32.841. Shane Terrian at the top of the board. He is the current points leader, Liam, and it seems like consistency is the key here so far for Shane.
Yeah, Shane has really shown that he's one of the guys that if it's like 1 or 2 cars in front of him that don't show up to in a race, he's pretty much the class of the field. Just always seems to mire back into 3rd place with how strong the front runners are in this league. And then you see a lot of other people such as Cass Silliman show up and have really strong runs as well. I believe they are in the playoffs preliminarily, but also, Thomas Bressy's also shown really strong runs. He just hasn't really been able to get it done, especially at Watkins Glen. He was that used to be his house and pretty much be the car to beat, and he just wasn't really like that. And during that race, around the 3rd place car.
Well, it seems like Thomas Bressy for the longest time was struggling to find his way to victory lane in Fuel. Then he went out to Watkins Glen late last season, dominated there, and it seemed like he was the force to be reckoned with anytime we were turning left and right. But then we went there for our 3rd round of the 2020B season, and he was up inside the top 5 for most of the day, but was never really a force at the front of the field. So maybe that rattled the confidence a little bit in this 24 car. And we'll see if he can get some of that back here at Homestead this week as he comes out of turn number 4 in his first of 2 qualifying laps. And we'll see what he can do. He's going to have to qualify better than the 33-second lap to be inside the top 10. 32.937, which will put him 6th place. Not too bad. Mitch Welker in the 76, he qualifies himself into 6th. And actually, that's where he finished last week, is in 5th place. So Welker had a pretty good run last week. Going to look to continue that this time around. So with qualifying almost complete, a couple of drivers left to take times. Casey Lacanas, Hayden Pistorius, about 15 cars not taking times, Liam. At Homestead, do you think that you have to qualify well to run up front, or do you think this is a place where you can come from the back?
If you can save tires, I would think that you would be able to climb your way through the field when drivers eventually burn through their tires. A lot of drivers in this field, from my experience of racing them, aren't really they're not really great on the long runs, but they're pretty strong. There's also always that group. But if you're really good at saving tires, you can make your way from the back to the front.
Heading down to the racetrack now as the field lines up on the pit lane, about to get ready to roll for 125 laps. This race will be just over an hour if it goes from flag to flag without any caution flags. Now, looking back at the rest of the season so far, it seems like we've done pretty well at running under green flag conditions with large fields, but Homestead in the past has been a very multi-groove racetrack, but it seems like the multi-groove nature isn't here with this car and this tire specifically right now. Liam, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, from my race here last season, it really seemed to be just pretty much a freight train on the bottom. If you got washed up out of the groove, you'd be going backwards. iRacing has modified their tire model since then, but I don't really see it changing. It just seems like the groove right off the bottom is going to be the line you want to be in, and you pretty much have to rely on other people making mistakes to make some position. And
looking down at the current conditions, track temperature just about 80 degrees, relatively cool for Florida because it's nighttime. We're heading into the darkness here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and everyone knows the nighttime is the right time. So when the track cools down, the intensity will pick up, and we've got almost 40 cars ready to take the green flag here. Track's going to transition. We're going to lay some rubber down, and that might help move cars around the racetrack just a little bit, but I still think we're going to see the bottom probably be the preferred line for the first part of the race, and we'll start to see that kind of navigate up the racetrack, and I think middle to high will be the place to be towards the end of the night. So we'll roll through our starting lineup here. Right now, here we go, Liam, on the front row, Shane Terry in the 83 and Nick Johnson in the 28, first and second.
Yeah, third and fourth, you got Byron Daly and Nick Indelicato, two guys that have been really strong this season and have been the class of the field.
In row number 3, starting on the inside line, Chad Simpson, Daytona winner Riley Thompson. In the 56 car, he starts in 6th.
Mitch Welker will be starting 7th, had a top 5 run last week, and David Caleb got involved in a late incident last week. We'll see if he can pull through and get another spot.
Row 5, Thomas Pressey in the 24. Colin Fambro had a hot end of the last season. He rolls off in 10th.
Will Roberts and Tyler Hensley will be in row number 6. Will Roberts and Tyler Hensley being really strong last season. We're going to see if they can get a really strong run today.
Well, the rest of that scroll on the bottom of your screen as we roll through NASCAR 1 and 2 and onto the back straightaway. This track has been used extensively in NASCAR and IndyCar, Liam. High speeds, progressive banking, 18 degrees on the bottom, 20 degrees up at the top. And this is a traditional oval, so no tri-oval or quad-oval section to worry about. But it's wide, it's fast, and it's unforgiving, especially on the late race restarts. We're going to see drivers diving up the inside but not have the banking to hold them. It'll be a fun race to watch, though. We got 125 laps to turn everybody loose. Almost 40 drivers lining up for the grid. Welcome again to SimTV. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Liam Sheen, as we head to the 5th round of the 2020B Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series season. Thanks again to Don Runkle Jr. and Mission 22 for sponsoring this season's efforts. As we move on this season, next race that you'll see on SimTV will be Thursday night, the Scars Porsche Super Cup Series. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Up at the front of the field, the 83, Shane Terry, the points leader, in command of the race. 125 laps, and it begins now. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Homestead Miami Speedway for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Already 3 wide on the bottom. Here comes last week's winner on the bottom of the racetrack, Byron Daly, into turn number 1.
Yeah, Nick Indelicato making a charge on the high side. Doesn't look like he's getting... Oh, he's actually going to get the run off the corner. 83 has a really big moment, and a car spinning in the background. That's Will Roberts in the 17. No problems there. He keeps it straight.
He's gathered it back up. No problems. They'll continue. Great save with cold tires. Probably everyone got them warm enough. There's cars in the fence. The 66 and 4 of Casey Shue. He scrapes against the wall. We're looking 4 wide, middle, and 3 and 4 up in the front. Johnston has the lead for second. Dayrally, they're 3 wide behind him still as they come out of turn 4.
Yeah, close quarters there, but it's going to be Nick. Oh, big wreck on the back stretch, or the front stretch, as it looks like RJ Root and Curtis Yancey have been involved in this one.
A couple of drivers involved. RJ Root, the one that spun around in the black Chevrolet Camaro there, and a first caution of the night at the end of lap number 1. Kind of a frantic start. I think the grip level seems pretty low out there, Liam. I'm not going to lie to you. It seemed like everyone was really struggling for grip. Especially right at the start, we saw the pole sitter Shane Terry immediately drop down. He's 9th after 1 lap.
Yeah, an absolutely horrendous restart for him there. And two guys that have been had a really good restart was Chad Simpson. He kept his way up into 4th. Tyler Hensley already up 8 spots.
Oh, great start for Hensley, but here's a look. You see the 29 just get loose, out of control, and that's where it all just stacked up. And the 51 also involved that Curtis Yancey. Not a ton of damage to those cars. He just got out of shape there, Liam, and not really much else to that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You see the 88 snag the wall there, but yeah, people just sometimes just get overconfident with the amount of grip they have. He was a little up the racetrack where it's not really much grip there, and yeah, just loses it, comes around on him, and ooh, Brian Chambliss, innocent victim there. Hate to see it. Gary Weaver also getting involved. Curtis Yancey also in there. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes you just get out of the groove and you just try to make the pass happen, and you just snap loose like that, and no, you're just pretty much along for the ride there.
Yeah, he was a little bit late in catching it with the steering, but I think what you don't want to do is you don't want to overcorrect and then head straight back into traffic. So maybe that was the safer way to go for route that time. But either way, some damage to repair on the rear of that car for Curtis Yancey, some front end damage that he still has not been able to repair. We'll see if that will affect his outcome later today. Some takers on pit lane. One driver in here we should definitely note here, Liam, is Finian DeCuna. Ex-MTV, well, I shouldn't say ex-MTV commentator, sort of a joke. He'll still be around, but his full-time duties as a commentator at SimTV have sort of come to an end here as he focuses on his career and going back to school this fall. So we wish him the best out here on the racetrack in a very clean-looking SimTV livery in his number 94 Supra. So we'll see. He's sitting 23rd right now after starting the night in 30th, so +7. Not a scratch on the car. We'll see if he can get there.
Yeah, very strong start for him. Also a really strong start for David Mott Jr. Up 10 spots already. Evan Adams also up 8.
A lot of shuffling and shifting around right now with the early caution, but it's Nick Johnson out front in the 28 car. So dominant last season, but it seems like Indelicato and Byron Daly have been sort of taking it to Johnson the first couple weeks. He's still winless in 2020B. Indelicato, Daly, and Simpson, all the three drivers behind him, are not winless. Daly with 2, Simpson and Indelicato with 1 apiece.
Yeah, I believe Nick Johnston missed the last 2 races, so it's going to be really hard for him to sneak back up in the playoff picture, especially when there's a lot of drivers that have made every race and had, how strong this field is this season. It's been way stronger than what I personally believe last season. You see cars like, Tyler Hensley that ran top 5, and they're mired back in 18th, and also, I want to note a really strong start for Mitch Welker. He's also yet to find victory lane, and hopefully to get another top 5 here and perhaps a win.
We already noted Byron Daly having 2 wins so far this season, and the one at Watkins Glen wasn't surprising, having him come from the IndyCar side of fuel, where run a lot more road courses than you do in the Mission 22 Premier Series. But the win at Iowa surprised me a little bit more. Again, we haven't really seen him run these stock car bodies a whole lot, and this is a new thing for him. But he's found success early, and I don't think there's a lot of carryover between a super lightweight fast Indy car and a heavy slow stock car, but he's found some success and sits 3rd right now. So maybe this is, again, the guy that we talked about in the pre-race. This is the guy I'm watching all season.
Yeah, Byron Daly's also has been really strong. Riley Thompson was also right behind him. I think he was the guy that finished 2nd to him, with Hayden Pistorius 3rd, but he was also making some really strong laps during that race. I think he led about a good portion of that race. So it seems like if it isn't Byron Daly or Nick Indelicato, it's pretty much a toss-up between Shane Terry and Riley Thompson and Nick Johnston.
Thompson with Simsa Esports, a change from the TDR team he was with last season for the majority of the year. Then he was teammates with, at the time, Hayden Pistorius. And Pistorius continues to drive for TDR. There he is down in 19th after starting in 26th. One, the green lights are extinguished atop the pace truck. We're getting ready to re-rack him and restack him, turn him loose for a restart here at Homestead. Johnson choosing the outside lane, Liam. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You'll get the preferred line where you can get the run off the corner. I mean, the top line doesn't really work, but on the restarts where you're flat out, you can get that run off the corner and clear the guy on the inside for a few car lengths. But on the contrary, you have the 74 who's able to just look at you instead of having to hit that look left button to see when you're going to go.
Yeah, there's definitely a trade-off there. I think early in the race I would have rather been on the bottom, but we saw drivers on the bottom earlier, including the pole sitter Tarian, who got off into turn 1 and almost lost control of the car. So maybe having to put that much input in to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack is putting you at a disadvantage on the initial start of the race. We'll see if it is better to start up at the top. 2 Ford Mustangs on the front row and a pair of, well, I should say a Camaro and a Supra in behind him, then another Supra and Camaro in row number 3. Pace truck is going to peel off. Homestead Miami Speedway for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Green flag back in the air from Homestead.
Yeah, really great start for Indelicato. The 42, Chad Simpson, didn't have a really good start, but here comes Byron Daly coming onto the inside. He made a lot of spots up there on the restart, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. Indelicato holds strong, and Johnston is going to look to drive away here.
Side by side for a second as they round turn number 2. And Byron Daly hanging on. into the inside lane, going to maybe try to side draft off that quarter panel as they rocket off into turn 3. Some wall contact for the 74, trailing Sparks out the right side. There's Welker, 5th place last week, 4th right now. Look at Bresci around the outside, running the Larson line right up against that safer barrier. Going to squeeze in between the 42 and the wall.
Yeah, the outside line works really well when it comes to restarts like this, but the 74 is going to drop back to 3rd, and here comes the 06 on the inside of the 28 trying to challenge for the lead.
For the top spot, Byron Daly on Nick Johnson, the winningest driver of the 2028 series. Look at Riley Thompson trying to go someplace behind Chad Simpson. Door got slammed, had to wait in line.
Yeah, really close bumpers here as the 56 is going to settle in behind him. The 24 and the number 70 or 76 are still side by side up ahead, and he's going to try to get clear of him. Riley Thompson's going to try to take it to the 83.
9 laps in, and Johnson's going to hang on as they head to turn 1. But look at Daly using the outside lane now, carrying the momentum behind him. The 24 doing the exact same thing. Johnson's going to come up and clear himself off the nose of the 06 to the inside line. He's going to take that run into turn number 3.
Yeah, the 28 is going to back it off, actually, and he's going to let the 06 have it. But here comes the 74 challenging to the inside. Here comes Thomas Bresci up the outside, trying to steal 3rd away from Indelicato.
Now, Bresci started this race in 9th. He's worked his way up to 4th already. A lot of speed in this car. The issues in the past have been mostly in relation to him burning the tires off the car and not being able to maintain the speed over the course of the run. And with the pace he's going right now, I think that might be what we'll see him do this time around as well.
I'm pretty surprised that outside line is working as well as it is. I mean, usually the outside line is pretty much a way for you to burn the tires, so maybe Bresci's taking that little bit of a trade-off to try to get that track position and then back it off and save tires as the 42 is trying to get to the inside of the 83.
And Chad Simpson versus Shane Terry, and he's the points leader coming into the night. There's the 44 of Tyler Hensley right in behind. Also, there's David Calvin, the 11, and the 20 of Jason Brophy, another carryover from the Fuel IndyCar Series, as well as the Coca-Cola of Kokomo IndyCar Series that runs on Sunday nights. He's found success in both.
Yeah, he's been pretty strong in this league. I've been in conversations with Thompson and Pistorius, and he's been there working with them, and he seems to know his stuff, and he's been putting together some solid races. Doesn't really get the finishes to show for it, though.
The exit at turn number 4, 11 laps complete this time. Daly, Johnson, Bresci, and Delicato welcome your top 5 behind him. It's a Hornet's Nest. Terrian stepping out of line into turn number 1, going to bring Chad Simpson with him. Looks like Simpson's going to try to keep rolling the high lane as Cal looks to driver's right.
Yeah, David Kalb had a really strong run last week, just didn't get the finish. The short board, he gets really tight off the corner, has to lift as the 42 is going to box him in behind the 44 and the 42, and he's going to back it off and try to go for it again.
2 by 2. This is all for 8th place behind 7th place Riley Thompson. Things have sort of fizzled at the front for now. Daly beginning to stretch out a gap. It's 0.2 of a second to line that time through. And Bresci now putting pressure on second.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's trying to chill out and save what they have with their tires as the 24 is running that top side. I'm really surprised that's working, but he's making it work, and he's getting position and ground on that 06 and the 28.
You see Delicato park right up underneath the 24. There's Welker and Terrian side by side for 5th behind them. Then Thompson and Tyler Hensley coming forward, another teammate to the 24. And Hensley has not had the luck that the 24 has had in recent years, but he's working his way up forward and still battling with the 56 of Thompson. And there actually see some lap traffic up the road as well. I think that's Casey Shoes number 4. He was one of the drivers involved in the earlier caution on lap number 2, so he's back in 35th. Checking in a little bit deeper in the field, there's Brian Chambliss in the 25 and 21st plates, excuse me. Vinny DeCuna just back there in the Supra. He's battling Casey Lakatos in a very similar looking Grid Life sponsored number 50 Toyota Supra.
Yeah, Finian's trying to make his way forward through the field. I'm really impressed with Brian Chambliss after getting that damage. He's still working his way through the field, and he's right where he started.
Up at the front, things are starting to tighten back up. Johnston trying to close on the 06. Bresci stuck behind the 28. Then Indelicato, Terrian, Welker, Thompson, Hensley, Brophy, and Kalb the rest of the top 10. Terrian was their pole sitter. Was shoved back to 9th on the initial start and now working his way back inside the top 5.
Yeah, Terrian's making a really good charge back at it. It's going to be really hard for him to snag the lead away, but he's perhaps saving tires right now to try to get him on the long run.
As a look up the inside, can't quite make the lunge down there. That's only to get harder as the night goes on, the track cools off. There's not quite so much slipping and sliding. There's Brophy and Hensley side by side for 8th. Calb, Simpson, and Fambro behind have their own little scrap going on.
Yeah, this track is significantly more difficult to make passes once the track cools down and the nighttime hits. There's a little bit of sun out, so people are able to make the multi-grooves work as the 44 gets really close at the 20 off the corner, and they're going to be side by side exiting 2.
Drag race down the backstretch, 44 versus 20. And off into 3, kind of rolling that high lane there. And again, I think this high lane is going to get better as the night goes on. We've seen the bottom drivers be able to hold their own lane.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of the opposite, where the daytime is actually letting the high side prevail a little bit, but the 44 is trying to get what's left of that high side to get past the 20, but the 20's not letting him go. Here he goes, diving into the corner, really close, gets super tight, and the 44 is going to have the position.
And it's had a huge lunge into turn number 1 and couldn't keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack slid. You saw the tires correct back to the right. Look behind him, there's the 5 of Fambro, almost had the door from the 42 up inside the driver cockpit as they head down towards turn 3. The 9 of Pistorius following him in. And the Fambro car, the number 5 GoPro Mustang, had a lot of success late in the season last year. He has not found that success quite so immediately this year again, so I think the momentum that he had built sort of got fizzled during the offseason.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see him make a really late charge into the season. Obviously, just wasn't really close enough in the points to make a shot at the title, but he won 2 races, I believe, last season. Also, another thing to note, Chad Simpson is going backwards really quickly. He started fairly high up in the field, even in this run, and he's all the way back up to 12, or back down to 12.
You have to wonder, is he burning off the good in the good years as they come out of turn 4? Working our way probably about halfway through our first fuel run. We'll pit at least 2 or 3 times in this race, depending on when the cautions fall. A couple takers earlier on that the initial caution flag at lap number 2, but your tires probably take 5 to 10 laps to start showing much wear. Now we're 3 wide with the 5 up middle, Calb on the top, and Simpson on the bottom.
Yeah, that top side. Oh, around goes the 42. He's going to be sideways down the back straightaway. I don't believe we're going to get a caution because he's off in the grass, so no caution's going to be thrown. He's going to get it back going. But
yeah, that was just showing a replay here as we see the touch between himself and the 5 of Fambro.
Yeah, the 42 is going backwards quickly. Maybe he didn't know the 11 went 3 wide on the high side, and I think that top side is starting to go away a little bit as the 11 was maybe 3 or 4 cars in front of them, and he was 3 wide with him exiting the corner. So as you can see, the 42 goes off the track, slams the inside wall. That's going to be pretty much a night over for him, as I doubt that engine's in good condition.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the end of the night competitively for the 42, and you have to wonder if he thought that Fambro would track out a little bit more to the right, but they were 3 wide, and the 5 did hold a line lower than I would have expected, but he didn't move left. It was the 42 that came up the racetrack, so probably more on Simpson than he probably at least thinks for now until he sees the replay. Daly, Johnson, and Delicato, the top 3, will look deeper in the field. There's Chambliss, McQuistion. Oh, look at this whole big scrap of cars. Delicatus, and who else is back here?
That is Will Roberts making the outside work, trying to get by the 88 of Tyler Hensley. I believe that's Travis McQuistion. They have really similar paints.
Yes,
but,
they do.
Yeah, the 17 was trying to make the outside work and trying to get around Travis McQuistion. I know McQuistion's incredibly difficult to pass. He's probably the Ryan Newman of this league, so he's probably going to make it really hard on that 17 to get by him, as he's going to go under the 66 to try to make the pass work.
Casey McConnell slots himself in front of Joel Holloway. Behind them, Will Roberts is approaching. Oh, there's Will Roberts there, creeping into the fight.
Yeah, he's just trying to get that absolute bottom to work. I'm kind of surprised he's running all the way down there. As you can see, he's trading that off with a little bit of a tight car off the corner, but it allows you to drive in a little bit deeper, but I don't think it's going to work out well, as the 17 is going to run all the way up against the wall. Very interesting there. Richard Nash having a pretty strong run up in the top 16, top 17. Really strong run building for him.
Yeah, he's dropped back just a little bit throughout the field, but not too bad. A little bit of side-by-side there with the 50 off into turn 1. Up in the front, nothing you're missing up there. 0.6 of a second by Daly over Johnson. Nash and Holloway running way higher up the racetrack than I would expect. The rubber is there to accommodate, so I can't imagine that's super fast. Behind them, there's Tyler Dolgor. He almost got in the fence with David Mott Jr. and Christian Gritzko chasing them.
Yeah, I don't believe that top side is actually working. Maybe they just don't have any choice but to run up there. Their cars just could be really tight right now. Maybe they burned off the right front a little early. Near contact there between the 10 and 91, but they keep it going. But the top three seem to break away, and then it's 7/10 back to Welker. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out, as the 4 is right in front of them as a lap car.
Well, Thomas Bressi was launching an attack on the top 3 earlier. He has started to drift back. He's now in 6th place with Riley Thompson threatening to take that away. So I think Bressi burned the good off the tires again. That's been sort of the trend that we've seen on these speedways. But look at Thompson slipping and sliding, trying to get the power to the ground.
Yeah, that's probably because he was running the top side, trying to get positions going for him. Maybe that's just the mistake he made. Is he's still running all the way against the wall? It's just not working. It's not like Kansas where you can run against the wall and make it work. The 56 is getting really loose off the corner. Maybe the 24 knows something that we don't about this track, where he's trying to make the high side work, but he's going backwards a little bit after running that top side the whole run. Back here, 8 and 11. Michael Stroll, he's been making some really strong runs. He joined the league last season around a 12th place car, and he's been making. I mean, we see the field is really, really strong this season, and he's still running around there, and that's really impressive to me.
Yeah, started 16th. He's worked his way up into 12th and has just cleared David Kalb off into turn 1, so continues to move his way forward. If we look back deeper in the field, Casey Lakatos doing the same, plus 10 for him. Now, a lot of pace in this car this week, and the pace has been kind of hit or miss for the 50 car this season, but right now, up inside the top 15, and now passes Cass Silliman for 14th spot and bringing Brian Chambliss with him.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Brian Chambliss. I raced with him in a few other leagues, Real Sim Racing, and he's been a really strong car in that league, and he's been making a lot of ground with that damaged car, and it's really surprising to see how he's able to make this work, as it looks like the 6 Cass Silliman's going to go backwards a little bit, but the 25 is going to run all the way on the bottom and try to get that little bit of run off the corner, but the 6 is going to probably clear him going into 3.
David Kalb trying to get back by Michael Stroll on the back straightaway, wasn't able to do it. Some sparks flying behind. I think it was Lakatos or Silliman taking a piece out of the wall. Bressi and Thompson continue their fight for 6. Now Thompson, the aggressor, on the back of the 24, unable to get alongside that time, but he's showing the nose. Tells me he'll get there at some point.
Yeah, it's showing me that the 24 isn't as strong as it was earlier in the run, as we got a car down on pit road. That's Richard Nash. Maybe taking a little bit of an undercut strategy here to get some track position and perhaps get a caution.
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised by this. I want to go back and look at, I was wondering if maybe, no, this is totally unintentional. I was wondering if he had maybe slipped out of turn 4 and gone down pit lane accidentally, but he locked it way down and didn't get himself to pit lane. But I don't know why you'd pit this early, Liam. This just seems like you'd want to wait another 10, 15 laps.
Well, if I recall correctly, there is a lap-led bonus point, so if he can time this right and run some really good laps going in here and outrun the leaders, he should be able to snag the position away from the leader, at least for a few laps or so, to try to get that lap-led point. Nick Johnston has gone backwards a little bit, and Nick Delicato is starting to show his prowess with saving tires and trying to move forward to get to that 06.
Thompson almost has completed his pass on Thomas Bressi. And whoa, big right correction there. You saw him in the cockpit with the red tape on the steering wheel about 90 degrees to the right as he came out of turn 4, and that slide killed the momentum on the front straight. They'll drop into line in 7th behind Thomas Bressi.
I find it pretty interesting that the how loose the track is when you're on the bottom.
Whoa,
but it looks
big
like
slide.
Oh, the 74 really loose off the corner.
I think he's crashing.
Oh, he goes around.
And that wasn't it. That was a crash big time at the exit of turn number 2. No caution, will stay green. But he walloped the fence at the exit of turn 2. And
yeah, the last few outings for Nick and Delicato in the Sim TV leagues haven't been really good. Yikes, it just looks like he just got really loose off the corner, smacked the wall, tried to correct it, and just fishtailed. And he'll spin around, keep it going. I don't believe he's going to be in condition to challenge for the win anymore. But that's what happens when you put as little wheel input as possible. If that car snaps loose, you're going to panic and try to get that car corrected, and looks like it's just going to pretty much be night over for the 74 machine.
Yeah, he's dropped all the way down to 18th. With all that damage he's got, he's going to have to come down and fix that. Not what the 74 needed to get a second win on the season after he won the second time out at Kentucky Speedway, race number 2. So there's a bit of a fight now behind Bressi. That's now for 5th with Thompson, Fambro, Brophy, and Pistorius all chasing.
I'm not sure what the playoff lock-in thing
Oh,
is...
there's a touch. A big slide for the 56. He had to right correct, and somehow they didn't wad him up at the exit at 2, but that was definitely some contact.
Oh, that 56 is probably fuming behind the wheel with that 5. I can't believe he's too happy. He just sent it in there and just rubbed that 56. Everyone doing a good job to keep it straight and going around him.
About as close as you can get to having a crash without actually having it. And now Fambro is going to take that opportunity to run down the 24, but no friends made there, Liam.
Yeah, that 5 is not making friends for him, but he's showing that he can get his way through the field. That late 2019 A or 2020 A season, pardon me, I'm a year in the past, but the 2020 A season version of Colin Frambo is starting to show, and he's about 7 seconds back. I don't believe he's going to be able to run down Byron Daly. Maybe on a pit strategy, he could be able to get his way through there and save his tires, but doesn't look like much is going to happen here for the 5. As we got a battle going on here with the 11 and 50. And it looks like the 50 is going to try to clear him coming off the corner. Can't quite get there. The 11 is going to be on his outside by a door going down the straightaway.
And Lacanis continues his upward climb. This would be for 12th spot. I think he's going to have it. Yes, he will. Matter is, can he clear him in that outside lane with the momentum you can carry? Going to make it very difficult, but Calm scrapes the fence at the exit at 2. That will allow Lacanis to finally complete that pass. Thompson and Pistorius up the road. They're side by side. Ex-teammates last season shared the same livery. No longer is that the case, and Thompson really struggling inside that car. Cannot keep that car from over-rotating in the corner, and probably burning up the rear tires as well.
Yeah, these two actually still work together. They're in a call right now in the TDR Discord. As well, they're still on different teams, but they still work together. They're still very much friends on the racetrack and still work together. So maybe the 56 is just letting the 9 go by as he's a stronger car right now. 20 putting up the fight to the 9, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens going into 3. So 9's going to charge in there. Get all the way up to the 20. He drove it in harder than the 20 did. I'm really surprised that he was able to make that work.
And they got Thomas Bresci. You see the yaw that the 24 car had at a turn 4? These tires are gone. Have a look at the lap times here. For Riley Thompson, his best lap of 33.319. His last lap a 35.246. So almost 2 full seconds off pace because of all the tire wear that we've seen since the drop of the green flag. 37 laps in. We're 3 wide at the exit of 2. And I bet you pit stops are coming and coming soon.
Yeah, everyone's doing a pretty good job to save their tires right now. The 9's been really strong. He's going to try to be the first one to clear Thomas Bresci, but the 24 is going to keep it to him, try to pinch him down there, and the 9 can't really keep it up off the corner. It's really the 24 really loose off the corner. He does a really great job at saving it, but the 9's going to be the first guy to pass the 24 in almost about 20 laps.
Here's a look at that at the exit of turn 4. Watch the hands, full lock to back to the right. What a driver is in that car, but the problem is that's killing the long-term speed of that car. Well, it looks cool. It's definitely not the fastest way to be driving, and he's going to slip backwards another spot.
One thing I want to note, what a recovery drive by the 74. He's up to 12th after spinning, and he's still quicker than the guys, I think, all the way up to 8th place. So he's been doing a really great job making his way through the field. The 56 really loose off the corner, and the 20 is going to try to take the fight to the 24, and it looks like the 20 is going to keep the spot. The 56, he's just been really struggling trying to keep the car planted, and he's probably going to lose a spot to the 24 again. Yes, he does.
Watch the hands in that car. I was just at Grid Life last week, and I thought drift was over for the week, but not here at Homestead today. We're still hanging out sideways and doing some skids. Side by side for 8th place, Bresci Thompson.
Yeah, these two have been battling for the past, I want to say 10 or 15 or so laps, and the 56 is going to drive it hard into the corner. The 25 is going to have that, or the 24 is going to have that run off the corner, and he's going to be able to keep him clear. The 56, I'm surprised at how hard of a time he's having keeping hold of that car. Usually when I run Homestead, the cars get tighter, not looser, and I'm really surprised at how much or how little rubber is on the bottom.
Yeah, we're not really seeing a lot of rubber accumulation anywhere. Even this deep into the race, we're still seeing drivers slipping and sliding at pretty much every lane. It doesn't seem like there's a grippy spot, but I can tell you that Bresci and Thompson both have used up the good in their right rear tire specifically. They've been hanging that thing out sideways so much. Notable driver right now, how about Mitch Welker up to 3rd place, quietly sitting inside the top 5, and there he is now running down Johnson.
Yeah, he hasn't had really the start to the season that he wanted. As you can see, the 06 was really just pretty much a dot in the mirror or in the windshield of that 76. But the 76 hasn't really had the start to the season that he wanted. Homestead is one of his better tracks. I know that from racing him last season. I believe he won the race in Homestead last season. or he finished top 3 or something. But really strong showing for him. We're going to see if he can try to get that 0-6 via a caution, because I believe that's going to be the only way these two can run down that 0-6, who's been pretty much a machine when it comes to tire saving and just consistency this season.
Yeah, you're right about Welker's last appearance here at Homestead. If memory serves me correctly, I think it was a second place in behind Nick Johnston, where he finished last time around. You see a bit of a bobble at the exit of turn 2, but a good run he's having here. David Kalb hits pit lane. Christopher Matthews is on pit lane. Seems like we're seeing some more takers here. A couple drivers out of the race we should note: Christian Gritzko, Curtis Yancey, and then Josh Robertson and Zach Buchanan did not take the green flag. And Buchanan's season has been awful so far. He has not had any luck, and he sits in 37th, did not take the green flag tonight.
Yeah, ever since a certain incident happened last season involving him with a intentional crash, he just hasn't really been himself this season from what we saw last season. He's been right there with Johnston and Welker last season, and now he's pretty much running 20th or not starting the race. So I'm very surprised by that. Tyler Hensley hits pit road. Looks like the green flag pit stops are officially underway, and maybe the 12 is going to be able to keep that spot or get the lead. The 0-6 is going to lap and really shows him how, or shows everybody how much better this 0-6 is at saving tires.
And again, he came out of nowhere. He has not run this series. He's a new driver to the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. He's not new to Fuel. He's run IndyCar before, but to my knowledge, he hasn't really run a lot of stock cars in general. So to just jump in these cars and immediately start beating everybody who's been doing this for years and years and years, this is sort of surprising here. And he's been killing it. Wins at Watkins Glen, wins at Iowa, and now on pace to win one here tonight at Homestead with a 5.3 second lead over Welker. As I think we just saw a couple of our leaders dive off to pit lane, including Colin Fambro, Travis McQuistion, and more.
Yeah, the 94, Finian DeCuna is going to take his lap back from that 0-6. So when the 0-6 comes down, he will be in a little bit behind this 94. Finian DeCuna, not really the start to the race he's wanted. He got up a few positions, but fell back.
He did admit pre-race that he didn't have a lot of practice. We'll cut him a break this time, but we'll start roasting him next week about it. But he has stayed out of trouble at least. So again, I'm sure we'll get another caution before the race is over, and he'll get a chance to re-rack, restack, and regroup and have a run at the end.
Yeah, and to go back about Byron Daly, as he's going to hit pit road now, as Mitch Welker is going to be your leader. But to go back about him, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe he's on Team Talent, which is a IndyCar team that is has a lot of talented drivers such as Liam Quinn and I believe I'm not too sure about their whole roster, but I believe Liam Quinn and Byron Daly, they've been really strong. They also compete in the major series. I'm not sure if the 0-6 does, but that is a league where it's pretty much a competition of who is the most well-versed driver around every car. And Byron Daly's showing that he's really, really good with these stock cars.
Definitely. That's an interesting little tidbit there, Liam, as Daly peels off a pit lane, a 14.2 second pit stop. Not too bad. Blend back up onto the racetrack. He'll come out in 9th place. Right behind him on the racetrack is Mitch Welker, who retains the lead. He has not yet hit pit lane. He'll have to shortly. And there's Johnson.
If that doesn't...
Ooh, squeeze is on by the inside.
Oh my goodness, I am surprised he made that work, but if that doesn't show how good that 0-6 is, they didn't even get to lap him. That's how quick he was. Off pit road, on pit road, in the stall, he didn't even get lapped. So that just shows you how, he didn't get lapped. So it really shows you how quick that 0-6 is. A lot of cars making their stops now. I'm not sure where that 12 is, who made that really early pit stop. Actually, I think he's yeah, he is not going to be the leader,
no,
but he'll be top 5 when these sort of cycle through. I don't believe he's going to be that quick with how old his tires are. But it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys get around him. Maybe it'll work out for him, but he'll have to pit really, really soon after the cycle's over.
A 14.5 second pit stop for Mitch Welker, and that is going to leave him well in the dust of Byron Daly as he rockets through turn number 2. And Daly's lead is only going to expand. You see Nick Johnson 2 seconds now, but he pit a couple laps prior to Daly. And with those older tires, he will start to fade. Thompson and Brophy are in the middle of a scrap right now as they exit turn number 2 in the middle of some traffic. And these ovals with such insane tire wear here, Liam, what you end up seeing is that drivers that pit earlier get all these fresh tires, and in a 20th place car with brand new tires will rocket right by the leaders. That's not because they're faster on raw pace, it's just they got the newer rubber on the car. Jason Brophy peels off. He'll hit pit lane. We'll follow him now.
Yeah, and with those 20th place cars, maybe they can, oh, caution!
Oh.
That is huge for the 74 and 56. They're going to be able to come down, get those tires, but I'm very interested to see who caused that caution.
I don't know off the time.
I don't have a name.
Looking
I'm not
around.
sure what happened.
I don't know
Don't have
why.
any off tracks.
Wasn't an admin thrown one, from what I understand.
That is very interesting. I don't see a stopped car. A car crashed. That is strange. Perhaps Gary Weaver? Because he got passed right after the caution came out. So, can we get a camera on Gary?
We could try. Let's have a look here. Gary Weaver, 0-1. A scratch on that car from what I can tell. Let's go back and have a look. Looking at my event recorder, in the wall in turn 4.
Hit the wall off the corner. No.
Oh,
stop.
I see smoke
Yeah.
in front of it. Oop. I saw smoke in front of him. Let's see if we can crack off the nose here. Oh, there is a car spun around. Who was that? Travis McQuistion, maybe?
I think it was Tyler Dolger.
Yes, it is Dolger. Okay, how did we not see? It's amazing how they just sneak under the radar like that, isn't it? There's a look.
Yeah, he had a pretty crunched up. Yeah, he.
Wow.
Oh man, what a hit! Yeah, he just got loose in that corner. Maybe he was just using those tires and really early in the run, even with the hot track temp. I mean, it's cooled down now, but man, what a lick right there!
He obliterated the wall.
Yeah, and that engine's probably destroyed. So that PMS 88 is not going to be really strong here. It looks like it's going to be around a 25th place effort for him, as a lot of cars are a lap down right now. Christopher Matthews.
Oh, what a gnarly hit.
Was
right front. Yeah. And we saw this in the early stages of the race. I'm sort of surprised at this stage we would see a car snap back to the right. We saw a lot of drivers sliding, but and you usually spin to the inside. But this is what earlier in the race when we saw, who was it that got loose earlier? RJ Root.
And RJ Root.
Yeah, when he spun, he just kept sliding to the inside, and while he collected a few other cars, at least he didn't overcorrect and hit the outside wall. So I guess there are some pros to take away from that. So lap number 52, our second caution of the night is out, and we're not quite to halfway yet here, Liam, but I think with the mix in pit strategy, this just totally turns some drivers up on their head here.
And this threw a wrench in the mix, as the 12 of Nick and or not the 12, the 74 of Nick and Delicato is loving that happened. He is now back in the mix, and he was running really quick lap times before that pit cycle came through. I believe he was running down the leader, and he worked his way all the way back up to 10th before before everything started, and now he's 12th. He has a little bit of work cut out for him, but I don't believe it'll take him too long to get back in the mix.
Well, he also got a chance to fix that car a little bit. You can't really do that under green flag conditions and not lose a ton of time. So was able to kind of knock the fenders out and hopefully fix any other aerodynamic bits he needed to fix. Byron Daly at the front of the field so far tonight. He has led 36 laps of the 52 that we've completed so far. Will Roberts sits in second. While he has not led any, he is also 15 laps into a run here. Do you think he should stay out? I mean, 15 laps is enough on your tires that it's going to matter.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure if there's a tire set allotment for these drivers in this league. I don't know if there's a maybe Finian could let us know on that as he hopped in the booth real quick. But I'm not sure if there's a tire set or set number of tires. But if there's a set number of tires, I would say don't pit, because that's just using an extra set that you don't have to use. But there's Finian Dakuta in that 94. I believe he'll get the free pass here. Or he'll take the wave around. He made his pit stop, I believe, 10 or so laps ago, 10, 20, around there. Yeah, we're on 13. So
I'll tell you what, off that last run, I definitely need to send my right front tire a Christmas card, because I wore that thing down to the carcass, because I had 15% on my on the left inner part and then 18% left in the center. But yeah, we have 4 sets of tires in case you guys are wondering.
Okay, so that would explain why there's some split strategies going on. Thanks, Finian, and get to sending those Christmas cards.
Will do.
All right, so Finian Dakuta running 22nd right now. We'll check back up towards the front. Other drivers that have crept back inside the top 10. Jason Brophy is snuck in there for the first time today, but benefit for drivers that didn't get the benefit of the yellow. Casey Lacatas all the way back at 18th here, Liam. One of the few drivers that really got sort of screwed by that yellow.
Well, yeah, and then you see a lot of cars that weren't running really well. Travis McQuistion went up to 15th, and Richard Nash, the guy that made that really early pit call, he's used 2 sets of tires now, so he will not have an extra set near the end. But I don't believe if this run goes, half, and maybe we get a caution at the end, I don't believe it's going to matter. So maybe this really worked out for Richard Nash, and I'm quite surprised that this actually fell into his hands like this. He's 12th right now. And I think that's the highest he's been all day.
Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. I think Richard Nash is in that position right now with a lot of luck here tonight. Thomas Bressy back up into 3rd. He got sort of saved as well, so he sits P3 after running the bottom side of the top 10 towards the end of that run. Waiting for the green flag to drop again. We've still got at least a lap worth of pacing to do here.
Yeah, it's the first caution of the night, or no, second caution of the night. Second by incident. After the 88 has hit the wall, we have about 23 cars on the lead lap. If I'm not mistaken, Christopher Matthews is going to be the guy sitting in the lucky dog spot as this run comes on. The 6 is now a lap down, so I'm not sure what's going on with my scoring, but I believe the 92 is in the free pass position. It's going to be an interesting battle to see who can get this lucky dog here, as cold tires in these short runs has been a very big problem for some of these guys, as the 88 and the I believe it was the 29 had a incident really early in the run. I think lap 1 or lap 2, really early in the run. They haven't been able to hang on to these cars, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an early caution here.
They see Byron Daly warming up the tires. I think he knows how slippery it can be if you don't get them up to temp. So he's getting some heat in. So is the 24, Thomas Bressy. And the 24, if I'm Byron Daly, I'm going to be very protective here, because we know how fast Thomas is on the short run. As soon as you start putting laps on the tires, he'll fall backwards. But the aggression on this opening restart could pay dividends for the 24.
Yeah, that top side is going to be at a very big disadvantage with that 17 being on that old tires. Mitch Welker's probably not going to be happy as a spotter, or as the flagman has the green in hand, as the pace car is going to duck down onto pit road. And it's going to be lap 55 of 125 as the green flag is going to come out in the air, and the 06 is on the gas.
Byron Daly leads them across the start-finish line. Already the 24 up into 2nd past Will Roberts. Mitch Welker drops into line in 3rd place behind. And it looks like everybody hunting for the bottom on the initial start. I think 2 or 3 laps from now, we'll see them all rim riding behind them. Look at the 20. He's side by side with Johnson. And Colin Fambrough following.
Yeah, one guy moving backwards pretty quickly is a 17 all the way back to 5th already out of 2 corners. So it's really showing that those tires are at a big disadvantage for him. That track position is not going to be really worth it, as the 56 and 28 are really close off the corner. And the 56 is going to hang on to that spot with his buddy Jason Brophy right behind him. And Colin Fambrough, I believe he's the 28's teammate this season. He's going to try to make that pass on the 28 or the 20, and it's not going to happen.
Exit of turn 2, Daly leads, Bressy, Welker, Taylor, and Pistorius, the rest of our top 5. And someone's going to have to get up there and dethrone Daly, because if he gets the lead that he had last time without anybody challenging him, he will lead the rest of this race. He's just the fastest out there this evening. Thompson still chasing, but Brophy, middle 3 wide as they come off of turn number 4. He'll tuck in behind Will Roberts, who is struggling on those 15-lap old tires.
Yeah, 200 IQ move by that 28 to box in that 56 behind the 17. There is they're going to be 3 wide. 17 is actually being pretty aggressive with how he's driving that car, as he's going to let those 2 go on by. The 5 is going to take it to that 20, and the 20 is going to get that run off the corner.
Side by side into turn number 3, Fambrough on the bottom, 20 and Brophy up top. Half a second lead for the race leader right now. Welker has Terry and marking up the rear tailpipes of his Supra right now.
Yeah, that 83 is showing he's going to be really strong, and he's been, I'm not sure how quick he was late in that run. He did fall off a little bit. That 42 Chad Simpson, I'm not sure where he is, but he's probably making his way through the field. But I thought he's really good on that long run. Tire saving's a lot harder when it's at night, because it doesn't really put you at much of an advantage to save tires, but it's also, if you don't save them, they can really burn up. One person I wouldn't sleep on is that 74 and Nick Delicato. He's been putting down some pretty good laps, pretty equivalent with the leader. He's not really making some passes right now, as the 28 and 9 are going to be really close going into the corner now. His buddy, the 56 of Riley Thompson, is going to take him into the inside of that 9. And I believe that 9's going to let him have it right now, as the 56 is struggling really loose off that corner. He hangs onto it, and that 74 makes that pass on the 11 and 17. and everyone's going to single themselves out except that 83 and 76. The 83 is going to take it to that 76 to get to the inside of him, try to make that pass work. 83 has been really strong on the short runs, hasn't really been there on the long runs as the 06 tries to drive away.
He slots back in line, puts himself back in fourth place. Roberts and McQuistion now battling for 12th spot. So Roberts, remember, he started second on the restart. He's back to 13th now, going the wrong direction on older tires. Hensley trying to work his way back through the field. So is Cass Silliman and Richard Nash. We documented earlier that the strategy we didn't think was going to work, and it doesn't seem like it's working out that great, but he's sort of stuck now. Looking for second. Here comes Welker to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side with the 24 Bresci.
Yeah, really close going into that corner. The 24 is probably not really happy with that 76, but the 83 is going to get to the inside of the 24. Probably 2 for 1 or 1 for 2 for Thomas Bresci. Maybe he was better off letting that 76 go, but he's not going to let him do it. 76 a little loose going into the corner. He catches it and maintains the momentum, but the 24 is going to go back maybe 3 or 4 positions now.
And Welker clears for second. A strong run for the Project 2 driver. Behind him, Terrian now launching past Bresci. I thought Bresci would have a lot stronger short run, but he seems like his best lap might be the third one after the restart, and after that he continues to drop down. There's Nick Johnson now, last year's winner of this race, in fourth.
Yeah, Nick Johnson trying to make his way through the field. I don't believe he's had that season that he's been looking for. Oh man, that 76 threw a big chop on that 83. I wouldn't be surprised if the 83 eventually gets sick of it. But yeah, Nick Johnson hasn't really been that force to be reckoned with as we saw last season. It's been the 06 and the 74 have been the two main contenders. But that 28 is trying to get his way through this field. Still really strong run in fourth. Riley Thompson in fifth, and he gets passed by Bresci. Actually, Thompson is trying to take it to Bresci, try to get that pass done. At 24, I believe he's just making a big mistake running that top side early in the run. It's just chewing up his tires.
Yeah, so he will drop back into fifth and now maybe even to sixth if Thompson can get there. And for second place, I'm not sure we're seeing this battle conclude yet. Johnson and Welker were teammates up until the end of last year. Now Johnson and Welker very much competitors on the racetrack. The 76 from the Project 2 camp, who's sort of all by himself. His other teammate, who's the 91 of Christian Gritzko, is sort of buried in the field right now and is actually out of the race. And so is the 40 Buchanan. So Rich Welker's all on his own.
If that didn't illustrate how good that 28 is in the middle of the corner, I don't know what does, but he was able to drive it in right under that 76, and he's trying to get that pass done on him. But you saw how much ground he made up in the middle of 3 and 4, and even that topside run that 76 is going to get, I believe the 28 has that pass made.
Off into turn 3. Fireball is coming out of the exhaust as the cars decelerate and overrun. Through goes the 28 to second place. He clears Welker, slots himself there, and will have to start running down the 06 of Byron Bailey. 65 laps completed on Homestead.
And here comes that 83. He's been trying to challenge that 76 and 28, and I believe if he just gets by them, he may be able to try to run down that 06. But he's been the guy that's been pretty much stuck behind 2 or 3 cars to keep him out of contention for the win. Riley Thompson closing up on that 83 and 76, and he's going to try to take it to them as he gets really close. I think he bumped him a little bit and shot him tight, but he's going to take that wider arc into the corner. He's going to try to get to the outside of the 83.
Great battle going on for third place up towards the front. Let's look a little bit deeper in the field. There's Hensley, Richard Nash, Cass Silliman, Will Roberts, Casey Lakatos, Michael Stroll, Brian Shambles all together in a big group. That's about 7 or 8 cars. Nash to the bottom.
I expected that 17 of Will Roberts to easily be that slowest car on the track with how much of a deficit he was at the tires, but he's evened out with these guys, and he's trying to make that pass back on the 6 of Cass Silliman.
I think you sort of expected the tires to equalize out. 15 laps old at the restart, but he continues to drop down the order now in 16th. But as we run more laps, the tires will even themselves out. And it seems like Roberts has sort of found the minimum of that tire wear at this point with Lakatos in behind. Up at the front, Daly, Johnson, Terrian, Welker, and Thompson. Your top 5. Thompson now closing in on the 76 of Welker.
Will Roberts may be a dark horse later in the season if he can get a tire saving done just right, but the 76 is going to get that pass made by the 83, and the 83 is going to try to charge and take down that 28 to try to get to that 06, as everyone actually hasn't been letting them out of view. The 28's actually, I believe he's running down that 06 just a little bit. We'll see if that's on raw pace or if that's him trying to use those tires a little bit.
Almost a touch there between those 2 cars in the middle of 3 and 4 as they rock it down onto the banking here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Look behind, how about Bresci and Calvin? Everybody in behind this having a scrap for 9th.
And that's 74 making a really strong run. He actually spun out and he's up to 8th already. But that 11 and 9 have been having a little bit of a battle. I don't think they've been too happy with each other this season, especially with that late race incident last week. I believe the 9 barely got by it, but that 24 is washing up off the corner. I just got a feel for Bressie here because he hasn't been really strong this season, as strong as he was last season, and this can't really be good for his confidence.
Lap number 70 is being completed right now, so we're getting to the last, 55 or so laps of this race, so about 30 minutes left in this, and I think we've sort of seen who's strongest and who's weakest, but I'll tell you one thing is that this scrap for 9th is not getting any more diverse as the night goes on, and it's still the same group of cars. Throw McQuistion in here, though. This is the first time we've seen him up inside the top 15.
Yeah, one car that's been really struggling as it transitioned to nighttime is the 8 of Michael Stroll. He's perhaps better during the day because he's had way more of his runs have been way stronger during the day, and when it hits night, he's really fallen off. But that 93 is going to try to take a 3 wide in that 24 and 9 to make that pass work. But he's going to be boxed in behind that 9 and 24. He's going to have to back off.
It's 12th right now in behind the 24 and 9. Off into 3. Leaves the lane on the bottom for the 9. He'll fill that hole. And McQuistion trying to find some air to put on the nose of this car. And will he take it 3 wide here, Liam? Is that too dangerous at this point in the race, or are we going to sit in behind and wait till these two to figure it out?
Yeah, it's too dangerous at this point as that 9 is going to have that line going into the corner. That 24 is boxing in that 93. Look at that run. He gets in middle corner, but he's going to be way too tight off the corner to try to get 2 for 1. He may get the 9 here.
Bressie clears the 93, but still has the 9 to work with on the bottom. And he'll lunge down into 3, and looks like he's got him cleared.
Yeah, and that 93 is only burning up that right front. He's going to go 3 wide. I don't believe he's going to be able to make it stick there, as that 93 is going to cut it really close to that wall there. Not really, but he's going to be really close with that 24 off the corner. And it can't be really good for his right front. There's a little puff of smoke there. It's not really good for that right front to be running that top side, especially a few laps into the run. He may be able to try to keep that tire clean, but that might be burning off that right front.
Well, we heard Finney Nakuna say that he needed to send a Christmas card to his right front tire because of how much he beat it up on that first run of the night. I would assume that that's similar for pretty much everybody except for the drivers we've already established are great at saving rubber on their tires. Nick Indelicato, Byron Daly, Nick Johnson. Everyone else has been beating their tires into submission and are going to struggle to keep a longevity in these tires as we work throughout the rest of the night.
I believe the fastest car on the racetrack was that 74, but with that top side, it really seems to be like a trade-off. Like we talked about a bunch of trade-offs earlier in this race, especially with the lane change or the lane on the restart. But that 70 for when you run the high side, you see cars like the 76 try to make passes work up there, and sometimes it works, but it's like taking a cheese grater to that right front. It's a big trade-off, and you have to try to make it happen really as quick as you can, because if you stay a few laps up there, it's only going to burn that tire.
Off into turn 1, side by side with the 83. There's Riley Thompson in, having a look at it. And now
that 76 had a big moment in the middle of the corner. He's not going to be able to keep that 83 in tow. The 56 backed off, letting the 76 in line. He's going to try to take it to him going into this corner, but that 76 is having a really tough time trying to keep that car in a straight line.
Look behind him. Look at Fambro. Seeing these drivers fight the opportunities. The shark smelling blood in the water. Look at the 56 flipping and sliding at the exit of turn 4. That is an opportunity for Colin Fambro. 50 laps to go from Homestead.
Yeah, every slip up that 5C or the 5Cs is an opportunity to get that position. And once he sees cars struggling to keep a straight line, he thinks, okay, that's another point right there. So he's going to try to take it to that 56. 83 super loose off the corner. Does a really good job keeping hold of it and keeping the second spot or the third spot. Man, what a moment.
Watch this.
He just got to.
Watch the hands, and we're going to ride on board with him. Watch the hands right here as he corrects back to the right. That is at 170 miles an hour. Just the most gentle maneuver back to the right to keep that car from crashing, but he did a great job, and now he retains his third place position right in front of Welker, Fambro, and Thompson.
Yeah, that correction happened in less than half a second in real time. It looks really easy to do when you're going 16x slow-mo, but when you're real time, that's really tough. And that 76 is going to get by that 83. The 83 is just looks like those backs aren't really doing too good for him now in the run. And I don't believe that any of these guys is going to be able to take it to that 06.
Daly has just been the class of the field tonight, continues to drive away from Nick Johnson. The lead is now 1 2/10 of a second. Behind, we've already Discuss the Fambro, Terry, and Thompson battle. A little bit deeper in the field, Bresci and Pistorius going at it for 11th.
Yeah, these two have been battling the entire race. That 24 has been making it really difficult on people to pass him, but he's not really making it much easier on himself by running that higher groove. And I don't believe that's really helpful for him to keep running that top side. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't tried to make that lower line work as everyone else has been running it. And I believe that 9's going to try to clear him. No, not quite. And that 24 is going to be really loose off the corner. He's going to let the back end step out a little bit. 9's going to clear him off the corner.
Saw the hands working in there. He is working hard. Driver earlier that was also working hard late in the run was Riley Thompson. And I want to watch his hands next time we come out of turn 4 to see if he's managed to save tires better this time around. We saw them on the last run. It was the 24 and the 56 sort of tandem drifting, both slipping and sliding. And I bet you that this time around the 56 is not going to be quite so sideways. Just watch his hands inside the car here.
Yeah, we're going to... Oh, man.
Not as much as the 24, so he's figured something out.
But it shows you that he didn't move the wheel at all. Like, you have to barely be like maybe getting a degree or two of steering input before keeping that car straight. But you look at that wheel, it's not turning at all. You have to keep that wheel straight. Look who's called himself back in the picture, Nick Delicato. He's going to try to get all the way up into 3rd, but he's been running some of the quickest laps on the racetrack right now. He's 7th. And if he gets by all these guys, he can get all the way up to 3rd.
His first race of the season was the second race of the season. That was back at Kentucky. He won that race. Then, we saw him in contention at Watkins Glen. Didn't end up getting the victory there. Then tonight, started in 4th, worked his way up towards 2nd, then crashed. Hit the wall, spun at the exit of turn 2. Here he is back in 7th. So great recovery here as we watch the battle for 3rd begin to heat up with Welker and Fambro.
Yeah, 2 ex-teammates going on right here. They're going to keep it going. Really similar numbers, but they are not teammates still. That 5 is trying to get by that 76. The 76 isn't really making it easy for him, and he's going to... Oh, man.
There's a touch. There's a touch. Sideways goes the 76, way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. And that was a big bullying move there by the 5. He's been doing that tonight. Every time he gets alongside, he's pushing and shoving and getting those elbows out. And it's not making him any friends, but it is getting him positions on the racetrack, and he's through and clear. Will Welker respond? Then dive back up underneath.
I'm sure that 76 is telling that 5 that he is number 1 right now, but that that 5 has been really aggressive. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's been being this putting that much confidence in the rest of the field. He's also been damaging his car, and look at that 74. He's crawling back up in the picture. He's not letting those guys go.
Well, if iRacing gave everyone a gesture button, they'd probably use that more than the throttle or the steering wheel. So maybe that's not a great idea. But as we head off into turn 1, Welker, Tarian, the rest of your top 5. Jason Brophy hits pit lane. Now, this might be a planned stop here. You could go to the end from here with about 40 laps to go or so. So maybe this is a strategy here for Brophy. Just pit now and be done.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is they haven't broken, or Byron Daly hasn't broken away to the point of what he did last run. Everybody's been keeping a fair bit of distance, or pretty much the same amount of distance between each other. And pretty much anybody in the top 7, if they get a really good pit stop, they should be able to take the lead away from the Z06.
Riley Thompson, he's going to hit pit lane from inside the top 10. And I bet you we're going to see a whole host of drivers come hit pit lane to try to get the upper leg. Thomas Bresci, upper leg, upper hand. What's the term? I think it's upper hand. I don't know what an upper leg is.
Yeah, that 24,
leg
he's
up.
been...
Thank you, Ed, from the background. That's what it is, mixing the two up.
Yeah. He's been chewing up that tire. The 74 is taking it to that 83. He's going to clear him. That 74 has been really strong mid-corner, and he's pretty much taking away that advantage from running the top side from that 83. He's going to dive in the corner, and he'll probably clear him mid-corner. There he goes.
Great racing here up inside the top 5. We're getting down to the very end of this race. Casey Niconis and Michael Stroll both hitting pit road. Question is, when will our leaders come on down? Nick Johnson's strategy got him closer to Daly, but it did not leapfrog him. You have to imagine as soon as Johnson hits pit lane, that'll force Daly's hand.
Yeah, don't be confused. That 66 is 3 laps down, so he's not in the position that Joel Holloway. I think he made his series debut last season at this racetrack. He's a few laps down, but he's putting himself in this battle. I doubt these top 5 competitors are quite happy with him.
Exit of turn 2, Daly, Johnson, Fambro, Welker, top 4. Then Delicato wrapping up the rest of the top 5. Richard Nash, Steve Herring, they both hit pit lane. So does Michael Stroll is rejoining the racetrack. And again, When will the top 5 come? That's the really big question. Is in Delicado, remember his recovery efforts here. Could he supplement them with an early pit stop to leapfrog the rest of this field? We saw Welker really slipping and sliding at the exit at turn 4. He'll need tires soon, the way that he's driving.
Yeah, that 76 is really burning up those tires. The 66 is going to try to take it to that 76 to get one of his laps, or try to get one of his laps back. But if I'm the 74, I'm pitting now because he knows he's really quick on the long runs, as he's pretty much evened out with that 06 and kind of falling off because he has to battle with the 76. But if I'm him, I'm pitting now, running really quick laps and then saving tire and trying to take the lead away from that 06.
There's Nick Johnson being passed by the 42 of Chad Simpson, who is 11 laps down. We documented his crash earlier in the race. A lot of repairs to do. He sits 11 laps behind the leader in 28th place in the Daytona winner. Remember, he only led 1 lap in that race. Not been an incredible rest of the season so far, but with his win, he's put himself in a pretty good position to continue doing that. It's all about momentum, Liam, and even one win can set you on the right path for the rest of the season.
And I'm not sure about the playoff qualification system, but I believe if he's winning in, he could just try whatever he wants until the playoffs. Again, I'm not certain about that, but any position he gets now will just help him get in that playoff picture because he'll have a whole win, plus, and a little bit of change with him going into the point standings post-race as the 74 gets that pass on the 76. But yeah, if I'm the 42, I'm just testing out some things. If it's winning, you're in, and doing whatever you can to try to get that little bit of an upper hand on the competition.
So closing in on 35 laps to go now, and every time we come on by 32 seconds a lap, we're ticking him away, and that gets Byron Daly closer to a 3rd consecutive win. Remember, he won at Watkins Glen, his first race in the series, and then again last week at Iowa. So 2 consecutive wins so far. This would be a 3rd. This would certainly solidify him as a championship favorite, even over Nick Johnson, who was last year's most dominant driver, and Fambro, who had a hot late season. I don't think we've seen this 5 be quite in winning contention yet, but he sits 3rd here. Liam, maybe we should keep an eye on him in the last 30 or 20 laps of this race.
Yeah, he's been able to save that tire better than the 28. They're going to dive down pit road. I believe they're teammates this season, so none of that has changed between the 28 and 5. Oh, really, really risky going into that pit road entrance. I believe he was 53, so maybe he might get something here. Doesn't look like he is. Also to note, 9th through 11th at pit, Travis McQuiston, Brian Chambliss, and David Mott Jr. They're heading out right back onto the racetrack as a 5 and 28 are going to make their pit stop.
So the interesting thing here is Johnson did beat Daly to pit lane. That's going to force Daly's hand. He will have to come at this time to defend the race lead away from the undercut. So he will hit pit lane now, wiggling and wobbling on the binders. He'll slow it down to 45 miles an hour, plus or minus 5. He'll ride that limiter at 50 miles an hour all the way down pit lane. Delicado and Welker follow him there, Liam.
Yeah, those two follow in, and that's going to hand the lead over to that 83. I believe he's going to get that lead point, so that'll be really good for him to try to maintain that points lead. But that 83 is, you could see how just by that 2 seconds of footage going into that corner, he's really having a tough time trying to keep that car off or on the bottom. As you see, he's running middle of the racetrack. I believe he's going to try to dive down. No, he's not, because he's going to go another lap. That's not going to help him with his abilities to try to charge back up to that 06. But the 06 comes off pit road once again, not lapped by that what's his face? The 83. Here comes the 28 of Nick Johnston. There's the 06 down there. He's trying to be as aggressive as he can. He's actually already off. And that 06 is going to maintain the lead, albeit maybe not as quite as he did last time, not by as huge of a margin. But here comes 06. He's going to try to pick his way through these cars. The 66 runs a little low. I doubt the 06 is happy with that, but he's going to keep it going. The 17 of Will Roberts, he's also going to try to have to make that pass there. We're going to see if he's going to be a little courteous here. Yes, he will.
Lots of traffic for Daly to pick his way through. Roberts, one of those drivers. And Nick Johnson, we talked about it. He actually didn't gain on this pit stop sequence. And I'm wondering why, because take a look at the pit stop time. His pit stop was 14.6 seconds. The time on the lane was 38.6. Go back up to Byron Daly, 38.2. So he did gain 0.4 of a second there, but the pit stop itself was slower. So Daly's efficiency getting onto and off of pit road is what gained him all that time there on the racetrack. And he will retain this lead unless somebody drives something crazy on pit lane here in the next 5 or 10 laps. Getting down to the last 30 laps this time through. Pistorius the race leader as it stands as we start to cycle our way through green flag pit stops. Now, we saw a caution our first time through green flag stops. Do you think we'll see another one?
I don't believe so, but again, I could be wrong. Last season, there was a little bit of trouble trying to get a green flag pit stop cycle all the way through. There's always a caution, so maybe that might happen here, but I don't think there's enough cars that could potentially, cause a caution. Or not by that. I mean, like by a lot of cars that are close by each other, where a caution can come out. But maybe something could happen where a car misses pit road or something. But I doubt really could happen. Rich Jet, Hayden Pistorius, obviously baking on that strategy, as well as Riley Thompson and Jason Brophy. Byron Daly's already up to 5th, and Thomas Bresci, who is, I believe he undercut the 06 by a little bit, will be passed by the 06. He'll cycle out in 2nd.
Yeah, Bresci's pit 11 laps ago.
Caution!
Oh, there's the caution. So we were just talking about that a moment ago. What are the chances it happens? Well, I think we just found that out. Who was it this time? Again, the stealthy yellow flags, man.
I wonder if it's on my event viewer.
I was looking there earlier and I couldn't find it. But they've been so stealthy about how these cautions have been coming out.
Steve Herring, maybe? Because it said he entered pit lane and then left pit lane with 2 seconds. So maybe it was Steve Herring that could have caused it?
Back now. No, he left pit lane because of the caution coming out. Let's have a look at what he saw.
Perhaps David Kelb, because he got passed right before the caution. Perhaps something happened there?
Up in the number 11.
Doesn't look like it. Okay.
I don't know what is going on, but every time we've seen a caution tonight, it's been just someone somehow stealthily sneaking past us, but a caution for an unknown reason at lap number 96. So our 3rd caution of the night, and right in the middle of a pit stop sequence, and this turns everything up on its head because guys like Thomas Bresci, they came down pit lane a little while ago. Well, he's going to have to come down again because you cannot use 13-lap-old tires and be successful with it. You're going to have to come down and take any sets that you have left, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, and I believe he'll be using his 3rd of 4 sets, so if he gets another caution, I mean, green-white checkered territory, I mean, maybe there's just enough sets for him to be okay, but maybe later in the season where tires are really important, like at Atlanta or something, he will not be as fortunate, but he'll make his pit stop, and that 5 of Colin Framborough and the 28, 76, 11, and 93 will stay out here. 06 also, I believe he hit pit. No, he didn't. These guys are up here from the way they cycled out. Not too sure. Cass Silliman stays out, and yeah, we have a caution on lap 98 of 125. I believe we have around 27 or so laps to go in this event, and we'll restart around with 25, 24 laps to go.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with a restart here on Sim TV. You're watching the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Hang tight. Lights extinguished here on the pace truck for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series at Homestead Miami Speedway, the 5th race of the season. Re-racking, restacking for our 3rd restart of the night. Colin Fambrough now the race leader with a late race caution here, Liam, for unknown circumstances, but it sort of turned this race up on its head with Byron Daly, the driver that's led the most laps tonight, make that 75. He sits down in 7th now with 24 laps to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him be really quick to make that 3-wide move, as we saw him do early in the race. I'm going to be really skeptical if it's going to work here with that 0.6 with this nighttime conditions. It's obviously a little bit looser, as we saw with the 88 having his issues earlier. He has quite a few more cars to make his way through. It's going to be really interesting to see how he gets his way through the field.
Checking in on the weather information here again as well. I'm curious to see if the temperature has dropped at all. It hasn't stayed. It hasn't dropped much. It's still 77 in the air, 80 on the racetrack, and wind 2 miles an hour out of the north. So no condition changes here, but the track has gotten darker with the sun setting and the rubber forming on the racing line, but not as severe as we would have thought as the pace truck pulls off. 24 laps to go from Homestead Miami. Green flag back in the air. Fambrough, Johnson, a big scatter in the middle of the field as the 20 car pulls out of line. 3 wide, make it 4 wide in the middle of the field as we rumble down towards turn 1.
Yeah, really interesting moment right there. It looks like someone spun the tires midfield, but everyone's going to do no...
there we go. Bigger behind him. That's the 12
big moment there.
Of Nash. He saved it.
I believe they saved it. 2 cars got really sideways. If we could get a replay of that, wow. They both.
I'm afraid to go back and pull away, but this is what he just got loose all by himself.
Wow.
Tagged the wall and somehow.
And someone in front of him. Wow. Oh, 29 did a great job missing him, but up front, it's going to be a huge battle for the lead here. The 28 snags it away, and everyone's going to do everything they can to try to get as many spots as possible. The 11's trying to make his way into the fray here. I believe that's the highest he's run all night.
And man scramble up at the front. Nick Johnson takes the lead away, defending winner of this race. Fambrough behind, has a bunch of cars all behind him. A big push from Shane Terry in the pole sitter. The bottom is the 11 of David Cal. Mitch Welker in behind. He's going to swing back to driver's right. Underneath him comes the 0.6 of Byron Daly. Led 75 laps tonight. He will not want to be denied this win this evening and get his 3rd consecutive win this season.
Yeah, tire saving's not going to be as important now, as it's pretty much a sprint to the finish here. We have about 21 laps to go in this race. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, as 83 is running the top side. He's making that trade-off to try to get that run off the corner, to try to get around that 5 and try to chase down that 28. But the 0.6 is also not making his way forward as quickly as I expected, but he's going to try to get through here by that 5 and 83, and he has to chase down that 28.
Shane Terry in the pole sitter up to 2nd. Fambrough back to 3rd. Daly charging his way up on the high side. Let's watch the speed climb here on the front straight. 175, 180, 182 off into turn number 1 and going to carry the momentum all the way up to the upper seam. Look at Terry and rim riding the thing right up against that ocean blue wall on the outside.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that that's working with his tire model, but it's working out for that 83. He's going to try to chase down that 28, only 3/10 away from a potential win in this series. The 0.6 is going to run the bottom. 5 is not going to pinch him. I'm very surprised by that, but the 0.6 is going to make that way by the number 5 machine, and the 9 is going to try to take a charge to that 11 and number 5.
Welker in behind a battle for 5th. That's Calb on the outside, and the 9 of Hayden Pistorius on the inside. Pistorius takes a big lunge, but gets blocked off by the 5. That's the GoPro Mustang in front of him. And Pistorius going to slot up the racetrack right in front of Calb on corner exit. And that hole was barely big enough for his big Chevy Camaro, but he's made it stick.
Yeah, he's making it stick, as the 76 is going to try to get into the 11. Get behind or under the 11. The 11 was behind the 76 on that very death-filled restart there, but the 74 is trying to get through the here. 56, 11 a little squirrely off the corner. The 56 is trying to get by that 76. We're going to see if you can try to get by here. Not going to happen. The 74 is making his charge through the field. We're going to see if he can try to rebound from that early incident in this race. He's going to try to get by the 11. Not quite.
A lot of congestion, not a lot of places to go. Meanwhile, for the race lead, Nick Johnson has it. Shane Terrian wants it, but here comes Daly for 2nd on the bottom of the racetrack. No sponsors on this car. Too new to the series as he's come out at turn number 4. Remember, he didn't start at Daytona. He didn't start at Kentucky. He started at Watkins Glen. He won Watkins Glen. Then he went out to Iowa, won there. Here he is riding in 2nd with just over 15 laps to go, and he is hungry for another one.
Yeah, that 0.6 is trying to get by that 28 and the 83. The 83 is going to get or passed by that 06, and now it's one car left that 06 has to get by, and it's going to be very interesting to see this battle for the lead. The 28 is one of the most aggressive drivers I've seen in this league. It's going to be very interesting to see how that 06 is going to try to claw that win away from that 28.
Delicado is going to run Fambro up the racetrack. That opens the door for that is the 56 of Thompson on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slot on through, 3 wide for a moment. Move Thompson up to 6th. Now make it battle for 5th as he sets his sights on Welker and the Teal car in front of him. Thomas Presley with some damage on the nose of that car. I wonder if that's where the caution might have come from here, Liam. That car did not have damage earlier. Now it does. You put the puzzle pieces together. That tells me you missed something with the 24.
Yeah, I never saw any positions drop from him, so maybe a little bit of a under-the-radar thing there. But that 06 and 28 are having a one heck of a battle here, and the 28's going to clear him, slide right in front of him. He's going to throw a block down the straightaway. Maybe, I was expecting a Carl Edwards type situation there. The 06 is going to try to get to the 28, and he's going to try to clear him here, but the 28's not letting go. He's going to get that run off the corner, and he's going to get there. He's going to get the run off the corner. 06 is not going to have it. Actually, quite even. The 82 is going to try to assist that 28, and they go into 3.
Yeah, Johnson chased him down the racetrack to try to block that maneuver, but wasn't able to do it. Now Daly slides up the racetrack, opens the door for Johnson to come back on the bottom. 15 laps to go from Homestead, and a great fight for the top spot.
Yeah, that 06 took a little bit of a sharp arc into that corner, and that let the 28 throw a wider arc. The 28's going to get all the way to the back bumper. The 06 maybe give a little bit of a bumper. No, the 28's going to try to get to the 06. The 06 is able to get to the gas really quick, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote for this battle for the lead.
Now, Daly has been so fast, it's going to be hard for anybody to take the fight back to him. Johnson, Terry, and Pistorius. Look at Pistorius for 3rd. A big lunge down the inside of the 83, and he'll have that spot pretty easily.
Yeah, well, the 83 may not. No, the 9 is going to have that challenge from the 83 still. 83 is really close to the fence. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to catch it one of these times.
Looking down the laps, less than 7 minutes worth of racing remaining. Mitch Welker and Nick Delicado now for 5th. I told you that 74 was coming. This car was crashed. It was sideways at 100 miles an hour in the grass on the back straightaway earlier in the race. Now he's looking for a top 5, and he wants it back. The winner from Kentucky and his first start of the season. Beginner's luck maybe, but he's back for more.
I wouldn't say that was beginner's luck. He put 6 seconds on the field. He's getting the 74. Is running out of patience with that 76. If I'm the 76, I'm thinking, okay. And that 74 and the 56 are going to try to work together here, try to get by that 76. And not going to be quite enough that he needed to get into the corner. The 76 is chopping that 74. I doubt Nick is really happy with him. Maybe give a little bit of a bumper here. The 56 is going to take the wider arc to try to get the run off the corner. The 06 is gone.
Yeah, this is when you start to not take anything. And instead of taking, you're giving at this point. So the bumpers are going to start feeling longer and more extended. There's a push right there from the 74 to the 76, and now it's game on.
Yeah, that 76 is really, he's not happy with him. He took a really sharp exit off the corner, trying to scare that 74, saying, hey, buddy, don't do that again. But that you can see the damage on that. A little bit of damage. The 74 really close to that 76 off the corner. You're going to beat that even in the corner. Ooh, man.
I was just going to show the damage to the rear bumper of that 76. It's pretty severe. Now they're taking swipes at each other down the straightaway. Back up to the high side of the racetrack. Riley Thompson watching this from behind. He does not want to be a part of this. At the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get on by before all the carnage happens. Welker throttles back up, but the 74 is gone.
Yeah, I doubt that 74 is out of the water yet. Here comes the 76. He's gonna get that run off the corner. Maybe a little bit of payback going in the corner. Not quite.
I can't get there. Andy has Thompson at the bottom, so he wasn't able to cut down the way he wanted to get in there to dive for the 74. So he'll have to fight him for 6th. Up in front, Daly leads by 7/10 of a second with 10 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, 74 to the inside of that number 83 machine. He's going to try to get that corner or that car into the inside of him. And he's going to get that really good run mid-corner. That 83, he probably used up his tires trying to take that challenge all the way up to the wall, and it's not going to work well for him. 74 is going to get that position, take 4th away. Now he sets his sights on 3rd.
10 laps to go from Homestead Miami Speedway. For 2nd, Hayden Pistorius trying to chase down Nick Johnson, but nobody is going to keep up with Byron Daly tonight. He continues to drive off into the Florida sunset.
What a strong showing from Hayden Pistorius. He wasn't quite there last season, but he's a strong contender this season. He's going to try to pass the series champion from last season, Nick Johnston. It's going to be very interesting to see what the 9 can do as the races progress in this season. Didn't really have a strong outing at Daytona, but he's showing that he is a contender.
Last time by, the fastest car on the racetrack was the race leader. Second fastest was the 74 of Nick Indelicato. He sits fourth, and he could, in theory, pass these next two cars and put himself back in second. After the night he's had, this would be a phenomenal recovery, but he's running out of time. 8 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, look at that run. He got off mid-corner. He's going to go into 3 and 4, and he's just able to charge that corner. He's attacking that 9, and he's going to try to get that inside on that 9 off the corner. And he's going to move up. Here comes the 74.
Indelicato charging forward. Bumped and bruised. Scratches left and right in front. That car looking more like a demo derby machine after the night that he's had on at least the front and the right side. And dirty on the left.
Yeah, that 9 tried to give a little bit of a challenge there, but then he got tight, had to lift at 74, got that spot away. The 9's going to lift early into the corner, not challenge him as much as he wants, and now he has a friend behind him.
Deeper in the field, here is the 8 of Michael Stroll, Casey Lakatos, Will Roberts for 13th spot. Finney and Nakuda watching this out the windshield as they come off turn 4.
Yeah, pretty strong we're showing for that 94. He's 16th now, just outside the first page of this ticker. He's going to try to get by his, I would assume, a little bit of a teammate in Casey Lakatos, the Sim Motorsports entry. He's going to try to get by that 50 and try to get his first top 15 of the season, and I believe his first start in the league.
Yes, that is correct. It'll be his first start in this series. And chasing down a very similarly prepared Toyota Supra, that being the Grid Life and Sim TV sponsored number 50 of Casey Lakatos. Now, Will Roberts in the 17, still launching an attack on the 8, but for 4th, here comes Riley Thompson past his old teammate.
And he's going to let him have it, and the 56 is going to get on by, and that 74 is taking it to that 28. He's going to try to get the pass done here. I don't think there's a little bit, any sort of a chance to catch that 06. 2/10 of the lap is going to be really tough, but that 74 is going to try to get second away from that 28, show that he's the second best in this league, and trying to get by that, or trying to catch that 06.
5 laps to go at Homestead. Up out front, Byron Daly with wins at Watkins Glen in Iowa. He is won both races that he started so far. He could go 3 for 3 tonight. Behind him, Nick Johnson, winningest driver from last season, defending champion, the 74, Nick Indelicato. New to the series, he won his first start at Kentucky a few weeks ago. It's been trouble since then. But here he is back inside the top 3, looking for second.
Yeah, he's been in nearly every league that SimTV offers except for one, and that's the Outsiders Racing League. I wouldn't be surprised if that league gets a little bit of an application for him to join, but that 74 is trying to take that 28. I believe the 74 is trying to go for the whole sweep of SimTV championships as he made his debut in Erska a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he ran the 3-wide national series a couple months ago, ended up winning that race as well, or that series as a whole. So we know how good he is and how good he can be.
Yeah, that 06 is gone from the field, so even if the 74 gets by that 28, this 06 has it made. And he's going to come off 4. Going to take 2 laps to go here, or 3 laps to go, as he's catching lap traffic.
And behind him, Johnson and Delicato beginning to race hard for second place. The 74 going to chase the 28 to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, that 28 making it really hard on that 74. These guys know that they're not going to win. Here comes Riley Thompson, a guy that's been making a name for himself this season. He took 1 win last season at Auto Club Speedway from a fuel strategy when he's going to try to get second away from these two, try to be the spoiler to the party.
2 laps to go for the race leader, Byron Daly. 2 seconds separating the top 2.
Here comes Nick Indelicato. He's going to try to take that charge into the inside of that 28. Here he comes. He peeks the nose down. The 28's going to shut the door. Here comes the 74, and that 58's going to run high. Keep in mind, this 56 has been he hasn't been making the passes. He's just been letting other people make them for him. So he has a little bit of extra grip on those tires. He's going to try to challenge these 28. The 28 and the 74. We're going to take the white flag.
Caution! No, caution on the racetrack. Where is it this time? It's Hayden Pistorius, the number 9, I think. He's had problems exiting turn number 2. And that's huge because now, you know what that means? We have a green-white checkered.
And a very promising run for that 9. It's just going to come to the end here as he was in a top 5 spot here. We're going to see what happened to this number 9. It's very unfortunate for him. He's going to come off the corner. Ooh, gets a little loose. 76 is going to give him a little bit of help. Yes, he will. And man, that 76, he's been involved in quite a few incidents the past few weeks, and I believe that's not going to be really happy with that 9.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's something that led up to this. I don't think that these two have had a lot going on tonight, but they come off of turn 2. The 9 offsets about half a car width off the wall, and it just seems like this is one of those situations, Liam, where you just sort of expect to have as much space as you think you have, but then you just don't have as much as you thought you had, if that makes any sense. Right here. And maybe the 9 juked just the slightest bit to the left, but in any case, there could have been more room given by the 76. But either way, with 2 laps to go, Byron Daly's got to work a whole lot harder now. And if you have an extra set of tires, now's the time to come get them.
Yeah, perhaps if you're the 76, maybe you thought that maybe you had a little bit more room, maybe a little bit of a wheel bobble up the corner, and looks like a bit of a racing deal there.
Yeah, it's never fun to have to decide fault. We'll just chalk it up to a racing incident for now. Let's go back down live, and we'll see what the strategy is here for everyone up at the front.
I believe the 74 pit as well as the 06. They did. This is going to be interesting.
You got fresh tires. Now's the time to use them.
Yeah, but a lot of people stayed out here. But look at all the cars that pit. 56, 83, 74 had a terrible stop there. But the 06, 74, 83, all your contenders. And then here's the rest of the field trying to get as many spots as they can here. I expect to see a few restarts here where it's going to cost these the front runners that stayed out a shot at the win here. I don't expect.
Well, let's explain the green-white checkered situation. In the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series, there are unlimited attempts at a green-white checker. What that means is that we will get the green flag with 2 laps to go. If we make it back to the white flag, the race will end under green flag conditions. If we don't make it back to the white flag and the caution happens between when we get the green and the white, we will throw the caution, we'll reset, add laps, and we'll try again until we can get it right. Now, there is a time limit on these events, and we can't be too far away from it quite yet. I think we've got about 15 minutes left, so I don't think we're going to get there, Liam. I think we'll get this on the first try, but it's going to require a lot of patience by drivers at this point in the race. I'm not sure there's a lot of patience left to be had, so we'll see.
Yeah, there's about 20 minutes left in this session as of now, so we'll have about 15 left when we get the green flag here. I don't expect any take or any give or take here. I expect just I'm going to take that spot, give me it, please. And man, it's going to be a very hectic restart here. And that 06, he's not that far back, so he can make as many aggressive moves as he wants. It's just going to be interesting to see. Maybe he can do it cleanly.
So Byron Daly just hopes that this race runs green to the end. With 2 laps, he'll be restarting in 6th on the high side. I think he'll have plenty of time to utilize those fresh Goodyears. The question is, if we're just doing these little 1-lap shootouts to get caution flags each time, then that's going to burn the good off of Byron Daly's tires and leave Nick Johnson in a perfect place to pick up the win should this race run out under the time limit. And taking a look at the laps on the 28, he's got 35 laps on those tires. And remember last time we had one of these green-white checkered situations was back at Kentucky, Liam? We ran 30 laps over distance. Now, Nick Johnson cannot go 30 laps on a tank of fuel, so let's keep that in mind as well. I don't think we're going to have that problem tonight, but it's possible.
Yeah, well, with Kentucky, it's a unique thing with how different the sides of the racetrack are. This track is it's about the same, and it's not really much where you can wash up and have a little bit of an incident here. But it's going to be interesting to see how the 06 cuts through the field. You have cars like the 12, 29, 76. These guys are on pretty old tires. They use them up trying to battle each other, but that 28 has been in a little bit of a league of his own. Well, around there. He's been on an island of his own throughout that entire run. I'm not sure if tire saving is going to work out for him here, because that 06 is going to be able to pretty much almost flat out in these first couple of corners. That 28 is not going to be able to do that.
So right behind the pace car is RJ Root. Remember, he was involved in the first caution of the night at lap number 2. He should to get one of his wave arounds here and get himself only put 1 lap down. Now, he'll be campaigning hard to beat Steve Herring to the next caution if there is one, because that would put him back on the lead lap and in position to take one of the top 24 spots, as we have 24 drivers on the lead lap out of the 35 that took the green flag tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. At 29, he's not going to have to worry about losing any laps here, because it's going to be only 2 laps. Perhaps he can get some spots on a carnage wreck from a white flag incident. I'm not sure if the 29 is to be able to... Oh, no, he will not be on the lead lap, so he's just running around just for fun. Hopefully some people in front of him get involved in the incident, and he can snag those spots away. But going to get the 1 to green here as the cars are going to double up. We're going to see how this shakes out. The race is definitely not over. It's going to be interesting to see how that 06 cuts through that field.
Lights are off on the pace truck. We will have 2 laps to go. We'll get the green flag. If we get back to the white, we are committed to ending the race. If the caution comes out before we make it to the white, we'll re-rack him, restack him, and try again as many times as it takes for the next about 15 or so minutes until the session runs out of time. Up front, it's Nick Johnson choosing outside lane in the orange and white associated Ford Mustang. To the inside, Mitch Welker in the 76 Supra. Hayden Pistorius in third in the TDR number 9. Then Jason Brophy in the bright yellow number 20. Richard Nash Daly, the driver that's led the most laps tonight. He's by far the quickest and on fresh tires. We'll see how he does here with 2 laps to go. The Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series, round number 5 from Homestead Miami Speedway. About to turn him back loose for 2 more laps. 3 miles, 2 laps. Mile and a half apiece. Johnson in control. Green flag back in the air.
Oh, 76 spins the tire, so does the 9, so that's going to be really good for that 06. He only has 2 cars here. He's going to dive down into the corner, going to take that spot away from the 20. We're going to see if he can make that charge on the 28. It's going to be interesting to see. Here comes the 83 all the way up in the outside. Really close quarters. 3 wide. There goes the 5. Big wreck.
A big crash out of turn number 2. That's everybody involved. That's 10, 12, maybe 15 cars in at that time. The caution's right back out.
Ah, man, you hate to see that. A lot of contenders wiped out. The 11, the 74, 50, the 9, the 5. Got away with a lot of contact earlier in the race and doesn't get away with it this time. Wipes out half the field. We're going to see what happens here. 5 tries to charge it in. He pushes that 74. Looks like, man, he just pushes that 74, gets off the gas, loses the car, hits the 11, 74, clips the 56, Riley Thompson. Hate to see him involved as well. And it's going to, oh man, what a mess.
Brian Chambliss in the middle of that, he almost got through, then gets tagged at the end. Vinny D'Acuna involved. The 93 sneaks through. The 77, a Rich Jet. And look at McQuistion just slicing and dicing his way through.
Yeah, 25 did a great job keeping it off the wall. He fishtailed, but he kept it straight, and that's really great news for him. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys... Oh, here's Cass Silliman's on board. We're going to see how he gets through here, or she gets through here.
Oh, big slip. Oh, and got punted from behind. And they just got wrapped up in that. Fortunately, no way through that. One car that did get through is the Steve Herring in the 98, right on board here.
Steve Herring has done a really great job at avoiding incidents from my time racing with him. We're to see how he gets through. He gets on the binders here. A few guys plow in there. The 92 just gets his brakes right off the 06 ARCA car, and he gets right through here. A few cars spun down on the apron. Ooh, didn't even see that guy right there. And they're going to be fine. He's going to be fine. The 94, our very own Vinny D'Acuna. He tries to get through. Man, that 11 just came shooting down the track. Nowhere for him to go. Slowed down about as much as he can. John Wilco also involved. And the big one at Homestead takes place with a green-white checkered. We're going to get number 2 here. And this race is pretty much won by that 06.
Well, yeah, and again, all that really mattered is that he got that position back. And I think now the fastest driver is set to win this race. But now can we finish this race under green flag conditions? Everybody went for it there, Liam, and we didn't really have much of a chance. As soon as I saw them go 4 wide, I said, that's it. There's no way they can do that cleanly. With that, again, we should be about ready to complete this race. Good things go smoothly, but that attempt, I'm not sure we'll see a smooth restart. There is a 74 crawling on the apron and out of contention.
He had such a strong run trying to rebound. Was a contender late in this race. Just isn't going to happen tonight for him. I believe he may have blown up. He's going to stop the car and get out. But it's going to be interesting to see if that 83 can take it to that 06 and snag his first win of the season. He's been really strong. He's a rookie in the series, and he's done really, really well with these really late restarts. I believe he's been able to hang tight with that 06, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can take the fight to that 06.
Let's remember where the 83 started. He was the pole sitter. And take a look at the laps he's led. You would never believe it. He's only led 4, and none of those was at the start of the race. He fell immediately back to 9th. It was just a recovery process from there. He's now found himself in 2nd place with 2 laps to go. And we should get the 1 to green next time by, and we'll turn him loose and get another attempt at a green-white checker.
Another guy that's been really, really strong on these short runs is Thomas Bressi. He's all the way up to 4th. He can get as much as a second. I don't believe he'll be able to run down that 0.6 with how strong he is, and pretty much the situation he's in right now. All he has to do is go, and he'll pretty much run away with it.
Yeah, and again,
it's going to be interesting.
The green-white checkered has sort of saved Thomas Bressi. The night wasn't going the right direction for him, but with that crash, that wiped out about 10-15 cars and put himself in a great position to grab himself a top 5 after a night that wasn't looking like it was going to lead him there. So with the pace truck crossing the line this time through, like we'll get 2 to green, and we're going to be right back in just a moment. Stay tight. Field works their way through turns 3 and 4. 2 laps to go this time by for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series from Homestead Miami Speedway. 3 miles. If we get back to the white, we commit to a finish. Here we go. 06 and 83 side by side. Liam taking him back to the green.
Here comes the 06. He's going to get on the loud pedal. The 83 not letting him go. The 06 is going to drive through the checkered flag line, and he's going to keep going. And he's going to go through 1 and 2. He has about a 3 or 4 car length lead. Oh, around goes the 17. Can he save it?
Oh, he does. Unbelievable. So there they go. There they go. And that's a big one.
That is big one. Number 2 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And Will Roberts with a almost unbelievable save. Just loses the car once the whole field caught up to
we
him.
had one up on its roof that time. That was the 56.
Yeah, 56 of Riley Thompson, not the ending to the night that he wanted. Man, wow. What a lick there for the 56. Everybody else also piling in. We're going to see what happened here. The 17 just stuck it on the bottom, clips to 10. He had a really strong rebound there. Hate to see David Mott also involved, or John Wilco also involved. Brian Chambliss, also one of those that has been able to avoid wrecks. It doesn't get lucky this time. 50 involved. The 92, it's just, and the 94 looks like he got stopped and was able to pick his way through here. Oh, yes, he was.
Well, we're going to re-rack and restack, and we'll come back for the restart here in just a few minutes. Hang tight. 3 out of 3 green-white checkers. The time has run out, and now 2 more laps. We said that a couple times ago, but this time it's for real. 2 laps to go. Daly, Tarian, Cressy, Brophy, and Stroll, your top 5 as we come out of turn number 4. This is it. Our last green-white checker of the night. Byron Daly has led 100 laps tonight as we get the green. 2 to go here, Liam, as they come to the start-finish.
Yeah, 20 didn't get a really good restart there, but the 06 is gone. All he has to do is just make some 2 good, really good laps, and he's pretty much gone, and the race is over. They're 3 wide in the background. There's 6 of Cass Sullivan's trying to make it through here. He's not going to be able to do it. The 06 is pretty much gone. 83 on the outside of the 24. We're going to see if he can make something happen here.
Oh, we're going to try 4.
Going to run all the way against the wall. They make it work. 4 works. The 6 is going to try to stick his way through, her way through here. And it's not going to work. The 6 is going to also try to get to the inside, being really aggressive here, and it's not going to work. The 6, or the 06 of Byron Daly, he's gone. It's pretty much his race to lose here, as long as he makes 2 more corners.
White
the 24
flag.
and 83
Byron Daly leads this race. He won at Watkins Glen. He won at Iowa. Behind him for second. A side-by-side battle with Tarian Bressie. Bressie with damage on the front of his car, unable to carry the straightaway speed. For Byron Daly, his first race in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series was at Watkins Glen. He won that race. He went to Iowa, won there in Newton. Now he heads to Miami, and out of turn number 4, a long night comes to an end. Byron Daly, his 3rd consecutive win and his 3rd start. He wins at Homestead.
Yeah, and a very impressive run by Byron Daly. And 83 wins the battle for 2nd. And the 24 will get 3rd here. The 44, Tyler Hensley, he comes...
I don't think everyone's thrilled with each other here. A little bit of side-by-side contact after the checkers.
Teammates.
Yeah.
Huh.
But, woo. Okay,
Oh,
there's the crash
okay.
we were waiting for. But a wild ending to a wild night. Let's have a look at our race results at the top of the board. Byron Daly in the 06 out of the Carolinas. He gets his 3rd win in his 3rd start. Shane Tarian, points leader, will continue to lead the points tonight with his number 83. Bressie in 3rd, a great recovery for him. Tyler Hensley, Michael Stroll, how about him sneaking up inside the top 5?
Yeah, very strong run for him tonight. And Christopher Matthews, Cass Sullivan, Travis McQuistion. People not happy with Travis near the end of that race. Wouldn't be surprised if something has happened by the stewards post-race. But Byron Daly is going to burn him down with a very strong and well-deserved win here tonight, as he will go 3 in a row in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series.
Now 3 wins on the season for Byron Daly. Checkered flag for him. And notable finishers inside the top 15. Finney DeCuna worked his way up. He grabs himself a 15th place. Riley Thompson, Hayden Pistorius, Chad Simpson, Nick Indelicato, all drivers outside of the top 20 after having such a strong night tonight. We'll be back in a few minutes with interviews. Hang tight. Welcome back live to Sim TV. Here now with our 2nd place finisher and points leader Shane Tarian in the 83. Shane, pole sitter tonight. Dropped back to 9th early in the race, but fought back hard, ended up with a 2nd place. Take us through the wild and chaotic finish here at Homestead.
Man, this car was loose on fresh tires. That's the reason why I dropped back at the start. I wasn't expecting, to go 3 wide and lap 1, turn 1, but it was a wild race. I mean, we had nothing for Byron, so it was basically a fight for 2nd place, and that's basically what I shot for. So I mean, I'll take it. Points day. I don't think if Byron keeps showing up, I don't think I got anything for him.
Well, Byron's got a lot of pace, Shane. Next week, if we have a look at our schedule, we're heading to New Hampshire, the 1 mile short track up in New Hampshire. Your thoughts on that track, and how do you think you'll do out there?
I love that track. I usually typically do really well there. It is my home track. Ironically, the last time I raced with Byron there was like a few years ago in the truck series, and I beat him with like 2 laps to go. So I'm hoping I could do that again, but I don't know. I haven't raced there in quite a while, but it is my home track, so I'm going to hope to try and get a win, if not top 3 again.
All right, Shane. Hey, thanks for talking. We'll see you later. Have a wonderful night.
All right, thank you.
Moving on now to our third place finisher, Thomas Bressi, in the number 24. Thomas, tonight wasn't perfect, but things sort of ended up in your favor. A third place finish night. Your thoughts?
I got really lucky. That's my thought. Yeah, just did not have the pace where really at any point during the run. I was obviously better on the short run, but so I kind of got lucky with the way the cautions fell at the end there. But yeah, I was struggling to kind of wrap my head around the setup because all through practice it was changing a lot, with the track changing and everything, and then the way it kind of settled in the race, I was just struggling with it a little bit. So it could have been, I mean, obviously 2 spots better, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. So I'll take third considering how the night was going.
Thomas, good luck next week in New Hampshire. We'll see you there.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Now, last but not least will be Byron Daly, our third consecutive win for Byron Daly since starting out at Watkins Glen. Byron, a wild way to end the night, but 1, 2, 3, and 3 wins to your name. Watkins Glen, Iowa, and now you're at Homestead. Take us through your night.
Yeah, I mean it was a pretty good night. The end was a little bit more exciting than I wanted it to be. Honestly, my goal was really to make it the most boring race to watch ever and just like sail off in the sunset. But obviously, it never goes that way. But yeah, it was setup was fun to drive. The track, it got tighter and tighter as you ran, but I was able to manage that really well and just taking care of the tires and trying to build a gap for those pit stops, and it really paid off there while we were running on the green. But yeah, a few twists and turns, but another victory lane again. That's cool.
Well, New Hampshire next week here, Byron. Will the dominance continue there, or is that a track where we might see this streak come to an end?
I don't know. That's always a touch and go one. It just kind of depends what we're doing there, if we're shifting or not shifting. And it's always tough to pass in New Hampshire. So it'll be a little bit different based on how the race plays out. Something like this happens there, it's pretty much a done deal if you stay out in tires. So, yeah, we'll see. I think I'm going to need a little bit more luck on my side there, but at the same time, I'm not counting it out.
All right, Byron Daly, third consecutive win in 3 starts. We'll see you at New Hampshire, Byron. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap things up here tonight for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. New Hampshire next week. The next stream you're going to see on Sim TV Thursday night. Scars Porsche Super Cup from Barcelona. We'll see you then on Thursday, 8:30 Eastern. My name's Kyle Heyer. Liam Sheen was here tonight. We'll see you on Thursday.